Okay, while we're waiting for folks to join me online, this is for the benefit of you folks who are maybe watching this after the fact. I just didn't want there to be silence and nothing going on. This was a requested video of Game 7 that never was of the 1986 NLCS between the New York Mets and the Houston Astros. Of course, that game ended, or that series ended in 6 games. And the Astros were looking forward to have Mike Scott going for them in Game 7 had they been able to win Game 6. And it was always one of those what-if kind of things. So this is going to be a replay of the what-if. And hey guys, welcome back. Had to get myself situated here. In looking at the cards that were made for 86, they're not really set up. For one thing, they're not set up super advanced as far as stealing goes, so I cannot do super advanced because there's no jump check and whatnot. So basically what I decided to do was play this game with advanced rules, with the one exception being I will use the ballpark effects, but everything else is going to be played strictly advanced as far as fielding and stealing and stuff like that. So the ballpark effects, I looked it up from 1987 in the Astrodome, and I'm sure 86 is not that far off. 1 to 10 is a single for both righties and lefties, and a 1 to 2 is a home run for both righties and lefties. So I know Mr. Lunar Bub and Larry are here. Might want to wait and see if any more folks join us here before I get going with the game itself. But I did want to give those preambles out of the way that it is strictly going to be advanced only. And I've got the rule book with me because I haven't played advanced in a while. I've been doing the super advanced for so long. I want to make sure I don't get things screwed up. One of the other things I am going to do with... hey, Tribe. One of the things I am going to do, even though it's advanced pretty much only, I am going to use the super advanced ground ball advanced chart because I feel like it's more realistic. But... hey Ken, how you doing? Just for the guys that are just coming in there, what I was explaining, you may not have heard this when I was talking, is that the cards for the 86 season were not set up for super advanced. There is no, for instance, there is no jump rating like there are on the super advanced cards. So we have to go by, the only way to do a steal is to go by this chart and see whether they're double A, single A, B, etc. So I'm going to play this game as advanced only with a couple of exceptions. One of those being the advanced ground ball advancement chart like I was showing you here, and also the ballpark effects. And again, for anybody that did not hear, for the Astrodome, the ballpark effects, a single is 1 to 10 for both righties and lefties. Home runs are 1 to 2 for righties and lefties. I did go and look at the 6-game series that was played and looked at the projected starting pitchers for each team. I did notice that Dwight Gooden pitched in Game 5, so they would not have had him pitch Game 7. They would have had Sid Fernandez because he was the Game 4 starter. So this is going to be Sid Fernandez against Mike Scott. And that's the way the pitching matchups are going to go. And the lineups I chose pretty much go along with what the teams normally would have done. And you know what? I just noticed that I forgot to get the pitcher hitting cards out. So I am going to have to do that. Yes. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm sorry, Tribe. I thought you were talking to me. You're talking to Larry. Let's see. What did Larry say? Did he get his cards? Let me see. Played a basic game for a week and brought it. It was bland to me. Larry, the basic game in Strat, if you're talking about Strat, is very bland. To me, it's just like APA. It's bland in that way. In fact, it's even worse than APA, in my opinion. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. But in my opinion, you have to go at least advanced on Strat to make it worthwhile. If you guys will go ahead and chat amongst yourself for the next 30 seconds or so, I did notice that I forgot to get the pitcher hitting cards, so I need to go do that. Mike Scott's going to use pitcher hitting card number 1, and Sid Fernandez is going to use pitcher hitting card number 2. But I think we need to have those pitcher hitting cards because it would not be realistic to have DHs when they didn't have DHs in the original game. So go ahead and chat, folks, and I'll be right back in about 30 seconds with those pitcher hitting cards. Okay, guys, I apologize. I am back. I did find the pitcher hitting cards. They weren't where I thought they were going to be. But anyway, Mike Scott's going to use pitcher hitting card number 1, and Sid Fernandez is going to be using pitcher hitting card number 2. So let's go through the lineups very quickly before we get going. And first for the visiting, hello Mark, how you doing? First for the visiting New York Mets. Leading off in center field is Nails Lenny Dykstra. Batting second, second baseman Wally Backman. Hitting third is Keith Hernandez at first base. Batting cleanup is right fielder Darryl Strawberry. Batting fifth is Gary Carter in catching. Hitting sixth is Ray Knight, the third baseman. Batting seventh is Mookie Wilson in left field. Batting eighth is shortstop Rafael Santana. And batting ninth using pitcher hitting card number 2 is Sid Fernandez. Now for the Astros, leading off, playing second base will be Bill Doran. Batting second in center field, Billy Hatcher. Batting third, whoops, I got the wrong guy in there. Sorry about that. I had my lineups done with Gooden and forgot I was switching off to Fernandez. So I need to get these right-handers out of or in there. So Kevin Bass needs to be in there, not Jose Cruz. Yes, folks, this is called being unprepared. All right, let me get my righties in there because I had my lineup set with lefties. And I want to make sure I got the right dudes in there. Okay. All right, so as I said, leading off will be Doran. Batting second will be Hatcher. Hitting third is Kevin Bass. Batting cleanup is Glenn Davis at first base. Hitting in the fifth position is left fielder Jose Cruz. Batting sixth, playing third base, is Phil Garner. Batting seventh and catching, Alan Ashby. Batting eighth, shortstop, Dickie Thon. And batting ninth, using pitcher hitting card number 1, is Mike Scott. Larry, I was looking at the game results from the 86 series, and Dwight Gooden would not have pitched in this game because he pitched in game 5. It would have been, by the rotation, it would have been Sid Fernandez because he pitched game 1 and game 4. I'm sorry, he pitched game 4 only. Gooden pitched games 1 and 5, so they would not have been able to get back and have Gooden pitch again. so that's why he's not there. But Sid Fernandez, certainly not a bad pitcher in '86. He was 16-6 with a 3.52 ERA with 200 strikeouts in 204 innings pitched. So certainly not exactly a bad pitcher. Not up to Mike Scott. Mike Scott, of course, in the '86 season was 18-10 with a 2.22 ERA. So he was pretty dominant there. We will be using ballpark effects, and I will be using the ground ball advancement in Super Advanced. Everything else will be strictly advanced because the cards just aren't rated for Super Advanced. Maybe one day Strat will. Hey Mike, how you doing? Hopefully Strat one day will up this set to Super Advanced, but we'll have to wait probably a couple of years for that. All right, all those preambles out of the way, we're ready to go. Mike Scott has finished his warm-up tosses, and stepping into the box will be Nails, Lenny Dykstra. And this is Game 7 that never was in the Houston Astrodome between the Mets and the Astros. Lenny Dykstra to lead it off. That's a 6-8 against Mike Scott. 6 and an 8 is a strikeout, so not a surprise there. Mike Scott starts out the ball game with a strikeout. Dykstra not happy, and that'll bring up Wally Backman. Wally Backman. That's a 4-8. So we're off Scott again. 4-8 is a walk. So first a strikeout, now a walk. And there's one away for Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez, a 2-10 against a righty. 2-10 is a fly ball to right field. Remember, this is for Super Advanced only down here, so we're doing advanced, and that's a fly ball to right. So I got to keep in mind to make sure I stick with the advanced checks, not the Super Advanced checks. May get confusing, but we'll see. Almost got ready to roll the D20 with the at bat, and then I realized I didn't have to. All right, here is Strawberry. That's a 3-7. 3-7 is a strikeout, so Mike Scott strikes out Strawberry to end the top of the first. Nothing doing for the Mets. We go to the bottom of the first. Mets nothing, and the Astros coming to bat. Bill Doran. Chris Berman used to call him Bill Doran. It's a 4-4, and he is batting right-handed against the lefty Fernandez. So 4-4 is a fly ball center field X. The center fielder is Dykstra. He is a 2 with an E5. So to check his defense, we're going to roll the D20 and see if he falls in that category of a range check or an error check. It's a 7. So a 2 and a 7 actually is going to be a fly ball C. He will make the play. And there's one away as Doran flies to Dykstra. That'll bring up Billy Hatcher. It's a 3-10 against the lefty Fernandez. 3-10 is going to be a walk. So Hatcher with a walk, and he is definitely a threat to go. He's a double-A stealer. He is a double-A stealer. So now I've got to get back to my advanced rules for base stealing. He is a double-A stealer, which is a 1-17. But then in the book, we have to go for a reduction of being held. And on a 1-17, let's look at the base stealing here. 1-17, a double-A stealer is going to be a -2 for being held. So that makes him a 1-15. And in advance, there is no check of pitcher hold rating or catcher throw rating. For one thing, pitchers aren't rated for the hold rating on the '86 season with these advanced cards. So it's going to be a 1-17 with a -2 for being held as a 1-15. They like those odds, so Billy Hatcher is going to be taken off. 1-15, he will make it. And he does. It's a 13. He made it, so it's a stolen base for Hatcher. He gets into scoring position with one out for Kevin Bass. Kevin Bass. It's a 5-4. Bass switch hitter hitting right against El Cid. 5-4 is a ground ball to second base C. So it will move the runner over, but now there's 2 outs. And it's up to big Glenn Davis. Glenn Davis It's a 5-12 against El Cid. 5-12. Well, we got a home run check. A home run check. It would have been a 1-14 had we not been using the ballpark effects. But it's a 1-2 since we're in the Astrodome. So the Astrodome may very well cost Glenn Davis a home run. He has to have a 1-2. And it's not a 5. So it would have been a home run had we been using the basic. I'm sorry, had we been using advanced chart, that would have been a home run. That would have been a home run. Because we would have been 1-14, would have given him the home run. But since we're doing ballpark, it's a 1-2. So therefore, it's just a long fly to left, and the inning is over. So that's one of the downsides, I guess, if you want to call it that, of using the ballpark, is it took a home run away from Glenn Davis. But we're scoreless after 1. And now the kid, Gary Carter, will lead things off against Scott. 1-5. 1-5 for Carter is a line out to third, snagged there by Phil Garner. And there's one away. And that brings up Ray Knight. Ray Knight. It's a 5-7 against Scott. 5 and a 7 is a ground ball shortstop X. The shortstop is Dickie Thon. And Dickie Thon has a range rating of 2, an E rating of 21. So we're going to see if he can't field this. A range rating of 2. We'll roll the D20. That's a 6. A 6 and a 2 is a ground ball A. So he is retired on a 6-3 ground out for out number 2. Let's see, a tri-fan. You can use catcher arm in advance for stealing, so it would be 1-17 less 2 for being held on less catcher throwing arm. Okay, did I forget to use the catcher throwing arm? Is that part of the advanced? I didn't think that was part of the advanced. I thought that was super advanced. Let's see here. You know what? You do use the catcher arm. You are exactly correct. You can tell how long it's been since I played super advanced. The catcher arm in that case when Hatcher was stealing was Carter. Carter is a arm rating of 0, so he had no effect. So fortunately, it didn't affect the play because his arm rating was 0. So, but I'll keep that in mind going forward for sure. All right. Okay, Mookie Wilson. 2 outs and the base is empty. It's a 2-3. 2-3 is a fly ball. Oh, get focus for me here. It's a fly ball to center field, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets. And after 1.5, it is no score. And Jose Cruz is going to lead things off, the left fielder against El Cid. Lefty on lefty matchup. It's a 2-9. 2-9 for Cruz is a ground ball to second baseman Backman, and that's 1 away. We kind of expect a pitching duel with these 2 guys on the mound. A lot better than what we had previously in the Giant Yankee game with Jake Peavy getting pummeled. Here's Garner, 2-5. 2-5 is a ground ball to third, handled out there by Ray Knight, and that'll be an easy out. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Alan Ashby, the switch-hitting catcher. That's a 5-7, so off of Sid's card, hitting right-handed. 5-7's a ground ball, second base X. That's a Backman check. Wally Backman's a 3. So let's see if he can get to it or not. A 3 and a 4. I think he'll make the play. Let's double check it. No, he won't. 3 and a 4 is going to be a single with 1 star. So Alan Ashby sneaks one on the AstroTurf past Wally Backman. So a 2-out single brings up Dickie Thon. Mark, I like 93 also. Florida Marlins are one of my favorite expansion teams. Plus you had the Phillies who were great in 93. So I definitely enjoyed that season. Plus you had the Giants win 100 games and not make the playoffs. That was before the wild card and everything. So here's Dickie Thon, 310. 310 against a lefty is a single to left. We're not using the Omega. We're not using the clutch. Plus there's not a runner on third anyway, so it wouldn't be a clutch situation to begin with. Simply a single to left by Thon. It's going to move Ashby to second with 2 outs. And what that's going to do is allow Mike Scott to bat and clear him this inning because he probably won't get a hit. But then it'll clear up for the leadoff hitter next inning. So here's Scott. Well, we're off Fernandez's card, so he could get a hit. 5-6. 5-6. However, he will strike out. and the inning is over. So we've played 2 from the Astrodome, and there's no score. Rafael Santana will lead things off for the Mets, followed by Fernandez and then Dykstra. Hey Glenn, how you doing? 1-6. 1-6 for Santana is a line out to the second baseman Doran for out number 1. And Mike Scott rolling along here. Brings up El Cid hitting off pitcher hitting card number 2. And that's a 4-3, so we're off Scott anyway. 4-3. 4-3 is a fly ball to left field X. So the left fielder in this case for the Astros is Jose Cruz. And Jose Cruz has a rating of 4, so not very good. Hopefully they'll get to his error check. It's a 4, so that's going to be a base hit, probably a double. 4 and a 4. 4 and a 4 is a double. That is a double for El Cid, the pitcher. How about that? El Cid, the pitcher, hits a double. Can you see him running around the bases with his girthly body getting that double? First hit of the game for the Mets, and it comes from El Cid. Go figure. All right, 3-3 for Dykstra against Scott. Is a ground ball shortstop A. That's going to have to keep El Cid where he is. 6-3 ground out. 2 down. And Wally Backman. It's a 4-9 for Backman against Scott. 4-9 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Mike Scott ends the inning the only way he knows how, with a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still no score. And Bill Doran to lead things off, top of the order against El Cid. 2-6 against a lefty. 2-6 is a ground ball to 3rd. That is handled over there by Ray Knight. 1 away. And like I said, the pitching duel is on. Here's Billy Hatcher. 4-7. If you came looking for runs, you might be disappointed. 4-7 is a potential single. 1-9. Anything else will be a line out to short. It is a 1, so it's a base hit. Base hit for Hatcher. Now he might get a chance to steal again. He's a double-A stealer. He stole last time. Remember, Carter's arm is a 0, so we already know the calculations for him. It's a 1-15. So he's going to go again on a 1-15. And he made it, but it's a 1, so there's a chance for a throwing error on Carter. Because of that D20 being a 1, Gary Carter, his T rating, if I can get it focused here. Come on, camera, do it for me. There we go. His T rating is 1-5. So we're going to roll a D20. If it's a 1-5, we have a throwing error. It's a 7, so it's no error. It's simply going to be a stolen base for Hatcher, and he stole 2 bases already. So he's trying to make things happen for the Astros if he can. But he's on second base with 1 out for Kevin Bass. And that's a 6-4 against El Cid, against a righty. A 6-4 is a catcher X. Catcher X. Catcher X is Gary Carter. Carter is a 1 rated catcher, and he's also an E3. But he's a 1 rated catcher, so that's a 12. Probably an error check. Let's see here, and it is. So he's an E3, and we get an 8 on an E3. An 8 and an E3 is a ground ball C. So the ground ball C will move the runner Hatcher to 3rd on a 2-3 ground out for a 2nd out of the inning. And that brings up Glenn Davis with a runner at 3rd and 2 outs. Glenn Davis, 5-9. So a 5-9 against El Cid, against a righty. A 5-9, come on, is a strikeout. So El Cid gets out of it with the K. And there's no score after 3 complete. That'll bring up Keith Hernandez. He will lead off the top of the 4th. Top of the 4th, it is a 3-11. 3-11 for Hernandez is a single, but we decided we're going to use ballpark effects, so it's a ballpark effect check. And it's a 1-10. So 1 to 10, and he'll still keep his single. He does. It's a 7, so the single will stand as Keith Hernandez starts things off with the base hit. Here's Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry a 4-7 against a lefty. 4-7 is a single with a 1, and anything else is a line out to second. So pretty much 5% chance for a hit, and he didn't find it. He lined it to the second baseman Dorn for out number 1. And that'll bring up Gary Carter. Carter, a 4-9 against Scott. 4-9 is a strikeout. So Carter down on strikes, 2 down for Ray Knight. Ray Knight, MVP of the 86 series, 1-8. 1-8 is a strikeout. And that's going to end the inning. At least I think he was the MVP. I'm pretty sure he was. His claim to fame other than being married to Nancy Lopez. All right, so nothing doing for the Astros here in the, I'm sorry, for the Mets here in the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Here's Glenn Davis. I'm sorry, Glenn Davis made the last out. It's Jose Cruz. Jose Cruz, the batter, 2-6 against the lefty. 2-6 is a base hit. How about that? A single to right field for Jose Cruz. As the Astros try to get something going here. Here's Garner. Cruz, a D stealer, so he's not going anywhere. Garner, a 6-7 against El Cid. And a 6-7. Come on, focus for me now. Why are you not focusing? There we go. 6-7's a walk. All right, so it's a walk. So 2 on, nobody out for the Astros as they have something going here. And we could think about bunting, but Alan Ashby is a D-rated bunter, so they're going to go ahead and swing away. It's a 3-3 against the lefty. 3-3 against the lefty is a single with 2 stars. How about that? The Astros break on top with an Alan Ashby single, scoring Jose Cruz, moving Garner to third. And runners at the corners, and the Astros take a 1-0 lead. And that'll bring up Dickie Thon, the number 8 hitter. Dickie Thon. It's a 2-7. And a 2-7 against the lefty is a ground ball shortstop. Hey, that's a double play. The run will score, but it is a double play, 6-4-3. Had they been in, that would have been a base hit. But since they were back, it was a double play. But Garner does score. No RBI for Thon. It's 2-0 Astros. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Mike Scott. But they've given Mike Scott a 2-0 lead to work with. All right, pitcher hitting card number 1, a 1-6, is a strikeout. So Mike Scott down on strikes to end the inning. But the Astros take a 2-0 lead as we go to the 5th. And leading off for the Mets will be Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson's a 6-10 against Scott. 6-10 against Mike Scott. It's a ground ball third base X. That's Dickie Thon. I'm sorry, that's Phil Garner. Phil Garner is a 4 E37. So he's a 4 rated third baseman. And that's an 18, so that should be a good play. A 4 and an 18 is a ground ball C. So he makes the play. It's 1 away on the 5-3 ground out. All right, Rafael Santana steps to the plate. Santana, a 4-11. So 4-11 against Scott is a fly ball left field X. That is Cruz. He's a 4. And that's a 3, so that's going to be a base hit. Probably a double. Probably a double. 4 and a 3 actually is a single. So it's a single with 2 stars, but nobody's on base. So Santana with a 1-out single. That brings up El Cid, who doubled his first time up, but probably in a bunting situation right now. He is a C-rated bunter, which would make him a D-rated bunter. So we'll roll for that. It's a 7, so that might still be okay on a D-rated bunter. A D-rated bunter and a 7. 7 is batters thrown out by first base and runners advance. So it's a sacrifice hit. Call it 3-4. Santana will move to second with 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Lenny Dykstra to get the Mets on the board. It's a 5-12 against Scott. 5-12. Well, since we're playing ballpark effects, he has a better chance at a home run, but not much. It's a 1-2 rather than just a 1. So he gets an extra 5% chance for a home run. He needs a 1 or a 2. Didn't do it. It's a fly to right, and the inning is over. So the inning is over. Mets come up empty in the top of the 5th. Go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 2-0 in favor of the Astros. All right, Bill Doran, top of the order, coming up. And that's a 3-11 against the lefty. 3-11 against the lefty is a pop-up to the second baseman, Wally Backman. 1 away. That brings up Billy Hatcher. It's a 3-9 against the lefty. 3-9 is a single 1-10. And 11-20 is a line out to short. 1-10. It's a 13, so it's a line out to short. That's out number 2. Brings up Kevin Bass. Kevin Smallmouth Bass. It's a 4-9 against El Cid. 4-9 against a right-hander batter is a strikeout. So El Cid puts down the Astros in order in the 5th. We go to the 6th. It's still 2-0. And the fatigue rating, Fernandez has a 6. Mike Scott has an 8. So Scott certainly still good to go. The Met bullpen may be loosening for El Cid. All right, here's a 3-12 for Dykstra against Scott. And a 3-12 is a ground ball to third base, B. So handled out there by Phil Garner for 1 away. Brings up Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez, famous Strat player, Keith Hernandez. 5-9. 5-9 is a ground ball to second. So handled out there by Doran. 2 up, 2 down. And that'll bring up Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry, a 3-9. 3-9 for Strawberry is a fly ball to right, and that's going to end the inning. So Mike Scott has just gone through the Mets in '86 like Sherman through Atlanta, and it's 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And leading things off will be Glenn Davis. Roger McDowell is in the Met bullpen, so if Sid gets into trouble, we will see McDowell. 4-8 against a righty. It's a 1-4 for a double. 5-20 is a fly to center. So 1-4, Glenn Davis will have himself a double. It's a 3, so Glenn Davis has led off the inning with a double. Double for Glenn Davis, and Roger McDowell is warming up a little bit more fervently now. That'll bring up Jose Cruz. It's a 1-9. 1-9 against the lefty Fernandez is a ground ball second base, A. And this is where I'm using the ground ball advancement for the super advance comes into play, because that's going to move Glenn Davis to third base. Cruz is out 4-3. Now the infield is going to have to come in. They have no choice. They have no choice in the matter. In fact, Davey Johnson has made a motion to the bullpen, and Roger McDowell will be substituting and taking the place of El Cid. So Roger McDowell, this is Game 7. There's no tomorrow, so they can't, let somebody stay out there and struggle. So Roger McDowell is in the ball game, and he'll be facing Phil Garner. Now they could pinch hit for Phil Garner with Denny Walling, but with a 2-0 lead, they're going to go ahead and stick with Garner because, of course, the Mets have Orozco in their bullpen too. So you don't want to do a whole lot of right-left switching this early. So Phil Garner is up with the infield in and 1 out. And it's a 6-5 against McDowell. 6-5 for McDowell is a line out to second base for out number 2. So, of course, with the line out and no advancement. And just out of curiosity, 6-5 on an El Cid would have been an in home run chance and at worst case a double. So Davey Johnson made the right move there, got El Cid out of there just in time. Keeps things at 2-0, but Glenn Davis still at third with 2 outs for Alan Ashby. That's a 4-10. 4-10 against McDowell, a 4-10. Fly ball center field X, that is Lenny Dykstra. He's a 2 rated center fielder, so he probably will make the play. I don't know, though. It's a 2 there, so that's problematic. Center fielder, a 2 and a 2. That's actually going to be a single, so Lenny Dykstra not able to get to it. And Glenn Davis will trot in to score, making it 3-0 Houston. That run is charged to El Cid. You can close the book on El Cid. He is done, as Alan Ashby managed to drop one in there in front of Dykstra, thanks to the D20. Here's Dickie Thon. That's a 2-6. 2-6 is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. But the Astros get another important run and take a 3-0 lead after 6. And Mike Scott with a 3-0 lead looks pretty formidable right now. Here's Gary Carter. That's a 6-9 against Scott. 6-9 against Scott is a strikeout. And as we said, Scott can go up to the eighth inning before he gets fatigued. So we're just in the 7th. It looks pretty good already, striking out Gary Carter. Here's Ray Knight. Mets running out of innings. It's a 1-2. 1-2 is going to be a foul out to the catcher, Alan Ashby. So that's out number 2. And that'll bring up Mookie Wilson. 3-7. 3-7 for Mookie is a single to right field. So Mookie sneaks a base hit. 2-out single for Mookie. Brings up Santana, but with them being down, they're going to go to the bench because they need some offense. They'll give up defense to get offense at this point in the game. So we're going to have Howard Johnson's going to pinch hit for Santana. Howard Johnson, despite the fact he's a 4.48, they need the offense because he's a much better offensive player than Santana. So Howard Johnson, Hojo, looking to get lightning in a bottle here against Mike Scott. It's a 3-8. 3-8, and he did it. 1-5 is a double with 2 stars, and a 6-20 is a single with 2 stars. It won't score the run, but it'll keep the inning going. That's a 5, so that's a double. So it's a pinch hit double. Pinch hit double for Hojo. And Mookie Wilson will stop at third base with 2 outs. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for Roger McDowell, as his spot has come up in the order. Hojo will stay in the game to play short, but now we need a pinch hitter for Roger McDowell. And the pinch hitter is going to be, looks like it's going to be Danny Heap. So Danny Heap is going to pinch hit for McDowell. Danny Heap. Runners at second and third, 2 outs against Mike Scott. The best chance the Mets have had to score all game. It is a 2-3. 2 and a 3 is a strikeout, so he strikes out the pinch hitter Danny Heap, and Mike Scott preserves the shutout through 7. And now we need a new pitcher for the Mets, and it's going to be Jesse Orosco. No sense holding for a save situation because there isn't going to be one. Might as well get the best pitcher you have to keep things where they are in a Game 7. So Jesse Orosco will be coming on to pitch for the Mets here in the bottom of the 7th. Mike Scott's going to lead things off. They're not going to pinch hit for Scott, obviously, with the lead like this. It's a 5-9 against Orosco. And a 5-9 is a fly ball to left. And there's one away. Back to the top of the order. And Bill Doran facing the lefty Orosco. It's a 4-4. 4-4 is an end home run chance. Bill Doran against lefties does have normal power. So this would be good if he gets the roll. 4-4. And focus for me, folks. 4-4. 1-9. 1-9 is a home run. It's not a ballpark check. It's simply a home run. So 1-9, and Bill Doran will take Orosco deep. And he does. It's a 1. So Bill Doran has taken Jesse Orosco deep and put the Astros ahead 4-0. Bill Doran showing some power there with that home run. That'll bring up Billy Hatcher. That's a 4-8. 4-8 is a walk. So there's a walk. And just on cue, what Tabletop Earl used to say all the time, a home run is usually followed by a walk. And there it was. So here's Kevin Bass. This is a 6-3. And Orozco struggling. 6-3. It's ground ball pitcher X. Orozco is an E0 and a 2. So if it goes to his error rating, he will make the play. It's a 20, so that's actually a range check. A range check, and he is a 2. So ground ball A, since it's a 20, it's a ground ball A, and that means it's a double play. It's a 1, 6, 3 double play, and that's going to end the inning. But the Astros get a run on the board thanks to the Bill Doran homer, and after 7 complete, it's the Astros seemingly in control, 4-0. Mike Scott will be starting his point of weakness inning, which is the 8th inning, and he'll be facing the top of the order, Lenny Dykstra. Nails. Might be the last chance for the Mets to get something going here. 4-9. 4-9's a strikeout. Now, there is that point of weakness, but he has not reached it because he hasn't given up 3 hits or walks. So the strikeout will stand as Dykstra is gone, 1 away. Here's Wally Backman. That's a 6-7. 6-7 is a ground ball to short, and that's Dickie Thon. Dickie Thon, as a shortstop, is rated as a 2 E21. So he's a 2 rated shortstop with a 15, probably a good play. 2 shortstop and a 15 is a ground ball A, so he made the play. 2 down, and the Mets are 4 outs away from being eliminated here in this Game 7 that never was. Here's Keith Hernandez. Hernandez, a 1-8. 1-8 is going to be a ground ball to second. Doran will field it, and the inning is over. So Mike Scott has been dominant, to say the least. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still a 4-0 game, and Glenn Davis will lead things off. Glenn Davis, it's a 5-5 against Orozco, who's still in there. 5-5 is a ground ball second base C. That's 1 away. That'll bring up Jose Cruz. Jose Cruz, it's a 5-8 against Orozco, against a lefty. And a 5-8 against a lefty is a strikeout. So Orozco puts the K on Mr. Cruz. And that brings up Phil Garner. That's a 3-3 against a lefty. 3-3 against a lefty is a walk. So 2-out walk to Garner, as Orozco cannot get a 1-2-3 inning. Here's Alan Ashby. That's a 3-8. 3-8 is a ground ball third base A, so that's going to end the inning as Ray Knight makes the play. And we go to the 9th with the score, the Astros 4 and the Mets nothing. And Astro manager, I believe it was Hal Lanier in '86, but don't quote me on that. I don't remember who exactly the manager was. I think it was Hal Lanier. He is going to shake Mike Scott's hand and say, thank you for giving us 8 shutout innings, but we're going to our bullpen. So they're going to their closer, and their closer is right-hander Dave Smith. So Dave Smith is on, and he had 4-7 with a 2.73 ERA. The card does not list his saves, but I know he was the closer. So Dave Smith is going to finish things off, or at least attempt to, for Mike Scott. So Dave Smith will be facing Strawberry, Carter, and Knight. Strawberry a 6-7 against Smith. 6-7 is a strikeout. So Dave Smith comes in and strikes out Strawberry for 1 away. Mets down 2 more outs to go. 4-3. 4-3 for Carter against Smith. Against a righty, a 4-3 is a fly ball left field X. That is Jose Cruz. Again, he is a 4-rated left fielder. That's a 20, though, so as a 20, any outfielder will make the play as a 20 as long as he wasn't a 5. A 4 will make the play, fly ball B. Had it been a 19, it would have been a base hit, but a 20 says that Jose Cruz got to the ball. So down to the last out, and it's Ray Knight. Ray Knight. That's a 2-4. And a 2-4 for Ray Knight is a ground ball back to Dave Smith. He fields it, throws to Glenn Davis. And the Astros have won the Game 7 that never was by the final score of 4-0 as Mike Scott was dominant. And that's going to do it for this game, as it was kind of fun to get back to Advanced. I kind of forgot how to play Advanced a little bit, playing so much Super Advanced, but I like pitching duels, and this one kind of fit the bill. Mike Scott, let me total up his activities for the day. Let's see, strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts for Mike Scott. And walks, he walked 1. See how many hits he gave up. He gave up a double to Fernandez in the 3rd, a single to Keith Hernandez in the 4th, that's 2 hits, single to Santana in the 5th, that's a 3rd hit. And let's see what else. He gave up a single to Wilson and a double to Howard Johnson. That's 5 hits. So he gave up 5 hits. So the final line on Mike Scott, 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 8. Dave Smith finished it off in the 9th, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. So the Houston Astros defeat the New York Mets by the final score of 4-0 here in the Astrodome in the Game 7 that never was. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing that. And I'm not a big fan of the Stratomatic cards in this blue and white. It kind of, after playing with the blue and red ones for so long, it's a little bit different. So I had to get used to that. And of course, playing the way the cards are not rated, like Mookie Wilson, he's just got a steal rating of A. There is no rating for his jumps, so couldn't do the advanced that way. Appreciate that, Bob. Appreciate your kind words. I had a ball doing it, though. It's a great game to play. I'd never thought really about playing a Game 7 than it ever was. It just kind of came up in conversation on a previous video. So there you have it. And as somebody said, the right team won. Well, that depends on your point of view. I didn't have a dog in the fight. Oh, Hal Lanier was the manager in '86. Okay, we'll go with that. I was not really a fan of either team, but I think I was rooting for the Astros more than the Mets, because I really was more of an anti-Met fan than I was a pro-Astro fan. So, and I really want, yeah, Larry, it sure does. I had to get used to that, to seeing these all white and blue cards. Like I said, I got these from Moonlight Graham, and they're in great condition. They're a little bit off-center. Some of them are off-centered, but they are in excellent condition. I mean, excellent condition. So no complaints there whatsoever. I make sure they're in the little folders here to keep them from getting too messed up. I haven't really played with them too much. I do like the 86 set, or 86 season, quite a bit. Well, thank you, Mr. Lunar Bub. I appreciate those kind words. Never know what to say on these videos. Just kind of just playing and chatting as I'm going along and thinking about what I hear when I was growing up, like Chris Berman using those nicknames and things like that. So I had that one snafu of not having the pitch rating cards in front of me, so that kind of gave a delay on the video for about a minute or so, which I really didn't like having to have happen, but you know, it is what it is. But that's the 86 Game 7 that never was, and the Astros came out on top. So I've enjoyed it, folks. I enjoy chatting. It adds something to my game experience for sure, because when I'm doing these things on my own, it's, you know, I'm in my own little world, but I'm not knowing anybody really to bounce off ideas or baseball strategies or anything like that as I'm playing. So that makes it nice for me. And thank you, Mark. I guess I'm glad to see the Astros win. Like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight, so I was just glad it was a good game, nice and close. Would have been nice for the Mets to at least score a run, but Mike Scott had other ideas. But it was more fun than the previous game where Jake Peewee just got pummeled, and it was pretty much over early on. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your kind words. Right now it's a little after 1 o'clock here on the East Coast, and probably about time for me to go get some actual work done around the house. My wife has been gracious enough to allow me time to do this for this morning, so I did have the time to get 2 videos in, which I appreciated. Not sure when the next live one will be. I'm sure I'll do another video of some sort, probably updating the 1987 Atlanta Braves History Maker season that I might kick back up again, since people seem to be interested in that. At least some did. Some said they were interested in seeing that kick back up. Played right now through 57 games, so 57, it leaves 104 games left because they played 161 in that season. 1 game that was rained out never got made up. So I've got 104 more games to go, which will take me a while, obviously. Plus doing the Grateful 8 and doing the Orioles with payoff pitch. There's a lot of games there to replay. But playing them offline, I can get them done pretty quickly. The only thing that takes the time is updating the stats in the computer. That's what really is my time eater, so to speak. But playing the games, I can pretty much roll them through pretty good. I do see that Tenacious has started his live video. So I want you guys to be able to go and check that out without further ado. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll probably tune over there myself just to watch a little bit while I'm getting ready to do something else. I appreciate you guys watching the video and chatting and so forth. Final score again: the Astros win the Game 7 that never was by a score of 4-0. Winner Mike Scott, loser Sid Fernandez. And go check out Tenacious Earl on his video. He's got the live update with his Tenacious League going on, and you want to check up and see how he's doing on his stats. And we'll see everybody down the road.